everybody. Welcome back to another edition of The Teardown. My name is Jeff Gluck, along with Jordan Bianchi. We are motorsports writers, The Athletic. And
I love Martinsville. It's so unique. It's so charming and quaint.
This place, man. Sorry, we're just some issues here. But anyway, we're back for another one. You know, it's really weird for me, Jordan, because this is our same room that we do what was the penultimate race of the season, playoff, the cutoff race every year, the fall race. We usually don't do this race together in the spring. So it's kind of weird to be in this room. I always associate it with the fall and about to go to the championship next week. And of course we will be back. If this still is the second to last race of the season, it's not Phoenix. So this could crown the champion. I heard they were actually kind of drumming that up on the PA today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were. When I was walking back in from the press box down to the infield, they're saying, remember, fans, you could see the champion crowned here if somebody clinches early during the chase. Now, of course, nobody's ever clinched in the 10-race chase early, but Tyler Reddick is having the kind of season that can show you how it's possible, right, with the win. So,
and we saw a winner today that I think we both expect is going to be in that mix for the championship come the chase. And I think today is why we think he is Chase Elliott. Consistency, always running on the top 10, gets good finishes, and they find a way to get wins. Like, they don't win a lot, but they put themselves in position to capitalize. And this was a day today where Chase Elliott showed why, when we changed, this format was changed, so many people looked at him and said, this is the guy. This is going to be one of the teams that benefits the most from this. And I think it was true then, and it's very true now as the season moves along.
Well, it sounded like, one thing that Alan Gustafson said afterwards of why this was important for them was because that very reason, right? Like, I think if you're a fan of the number 9 team, and certainly it sounds like even the number 9 team themselves, right? Like, when they get in a mode where they're like, man, we're not leading laps, we're not running up front, they felt like this was a reminder today of, we didn't have the best car, we weren't going to win this race, and we stuck in there, we got the strategy right, and we were a 10th place car maybe or something, and we won the race. So he said that was actually really important for them going forward, to a reminder of like, hey, if we get in this position again, it doesn't mean we're out of it, right? And so that's something that the number 9 team hasn't really had. Typically, when they win one race a year, 2 races a year or something, it's like everything comes together and like, oh yeah, they hit it today. Like, Texas, it's like, oh yeah, they put it all together, right?
But Kansas last year, that was a bit of a luck thing and everything. But their average finish this year is 9, flat 9. That's, you finish 9, have an average finish of 9, you're going to be in the championship mix. You're going to be one of the guys who's in the head of this, in the heat of the battle. So it just sets up well for them. They get stage points. They run consistently well. I was talking to a couple people about this weekend, is that Chase doesn't make mistakes as a driver. Very rarely do you ever hear him overdrive a car and say, I made a mistake, I hit the wall, this. Like, if he's got a 10th place car, he's going to finish right around there, And so they just do a good job of staying mistake-free and putting themselves in a position to get good finishes. And then today, when it affords them to make gambles like this or strategy calls, they do a good job of capitalizing.
Yeah, and I think, look, it's a situation where we all know that Alan Gustafson's come under a lot of heat, right, from the fans.
Just a little bit.
I got into it last week with a bunch of Chase Elliott fans. The Darlington call, he ran long, right, and I was like, no, just watch this, guys. They're going to get this right. They ended up not, and so I said, listen, I will publicly say I was wrong if this is wrong, and they were just delighted. Like they were tweeting at me like I was Alan. They were just so angry, and they were just so mad and so happy that I was wrong and they were right, that this was another bad call.
It feels really good, doesn't it?
So when, this call happened today, and you know what, I instead of me trying to explain what happened exactly, I think we should let Alan himself, because if I'm just going to read quotes or try to break this down, I don't think that would work as well. So let's go ahead and play Alan Gustafson's answer of how the strategy actually worked out for them today. Hey, Alan. So you guys pit with 138 to go, and a lot of the chatter was like, no, we're not going to take the bait yet. Like, we need to stay out 30 to 40 more laps. I guess they were just trying to split the whole stage in half. So you were going to run yours out and then pit with what, maybe like 80 to go or something like that?
I think the runs, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just wondering your strategy,
Yeah, so it would, split in I think it was like 78 lap runs or something like that. The exact number. I came too early from what the two stop split would be. So yeah, I think for us it's it's a pretty dynamic thing because for Denny it was probably mathematically faster to run it to one stop because he had track position and he had clean air, and then for us we were kind of teetering, was it going to be better or not going to be better, and then I had a lot of confidence that most people were going to try to one stop it, and I just felt like we had to give ourselves a shot and do something different, right, and try to give ourselves an opportunity. I think probably where it turned a little different is when we pit, everybody basically at that time then has the same track position relatively, right? I mean, you're all spread around the track. So that advantage that the leaders had, it was diminished. And when we pit, our lap times, I think, were really pretty good, and our fall off was less than expected or less than the guys had run that run before. So as soon as those guys who are going to one stop then start shorting that by significant amounts of laps, that's playing to our hands, right? Because then they've got to run a lot longer, and mathematically they're then going to be worse. From where the majority of the people stopped, I think for anyone that would have been better to two-stop it. So the flip side of that is the caution exposure. You don't expect anyone, I don't think anybody in the top five, their cars were going to be good for long runs, and they were ultimately going to be able to one stop it and minimize the exposure of the caution coming out and being trapped a lap down. So it was really not going to work. If I'm in their spot, I'm doing the same thing, right? You just don't want to take that caution risk. But where we were probably right around the position that it makes sense to take that risk. Maybe a little further than us. If I was a little further up, it would have been worth doing. But I mean, at the same time, like you can't sit on your hands and run 10th. So you got to do something, right? So I think that was the best shot.
I was just going to add, I was sitting on the 5 box, so I was listening to Cliff and some of the discussions that they were having, and they had not planned to do the two stop, if you want to call it that, and then they kind of shorted it, and then it drug everybody, right? So because they came a little earlier, and I don't remember where they were sitting 6th, 7th, and I think they were struggling a little bit with some rear tire wear and grip, and then all of a sudden, that brought everybody in, which again played into their hands. That wasn't the plan. It's just that I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so let's try to figure out what happened there, right? So Chase Elliott, there is a green flag pit stop sequence at Martinsville, which obviously you don't see all the time. If there's a bunch of cautions at Martinsville, you're not going to see that. It's a very long last stage. The last stage was almost half the race, pretty much, right? I think it was half the race. So it's playing out. Everybody's seeing, okay, this is probably going to run green here. And so they're looking at it as, well, what can we do to be different? And there was a lot of radio chatter at the time, like I mentioned in the question there, where people are like, we're not taking the bait. We're going to stick to cutting this in half. They had figured out that, well, we might be able to work it here to where we two stop it. And as Gordon said there, once he was out on his own island, but once the Larson group brought everybody else down, because then there was suddenly a bunch of guys coming down, and they were gonna have to make it a really long time. So even without this debris caution that ended up happening, it actually might have played in their hands pretty well. I don't know if they would have won, but it definitely was going to work out. So either way, they were in pretty good shape there. Now, obviously, as he's starting to go backwards, and Hamlin's starting to make up ground. He's starting to lose that. The deficit is closing, and the caution comes out, and it sort of restores his track position. I guess with brake rotors, you said. I was walking back
off the 10 car tied down. There was a brake rotor on the track, and other pieces of debris.
So that sort of puts everybody back in the playing field. So he gets his track position. Now Chastain stays out.
Yep.
And then because of Chastain staying out, the things kind of get bottled up on the restart a little bit. There's another wreck there, but things, the next restart, things get bottled up. Chase ends up getting the advantage. Now Hamlin still clears, and he's having a chance to track him down. And so you're all thinking, well, he's going to get him. I mean, he's the fastest car. He's been the fastest car all day. He led the most laps today. think 292 laps that he's led since 2009 at Richmond. So, and it was like the fourth most of his entire career. But we find out after the race, turns out, guys, Denny Hamlin had at least a slightly loose left rear wheel, and that could have accounted for at least some loss of grip, and is probably the difference between winning and losing when your wheels hopping around a little bit in that situation. So Denny's car was not at full strength in that moment, so everything sort of converged to get the win to Chase Elliott, but still, you got to execute. He did that. The 9 team did that. And Hendrick gets its first win of the year when things were on a day when they were not looking very good, really.
No, a couple things there, too, to add is one, yes, Denny did have the issue with the tire. And after the race, Chris Gale were walking around the car. And you could tell that they were looking at the wheels. Was it flat? The left rear tire looked flat, actually. Apparently, it wasn't the case. It may have been down a few pounds of air pressure. They weren't sure. But there was something that was amiss. And they were looking at that. It is important to note, though, too, he did lose control of the race. And all day long, started on the pole, led the first 2 stages, never really didn't control the race. There was one point where William Byron passed him, but he quickly passed him back. Then he controlled the race. And even in this car, because the margin is so slim and the field is so tight, everybody is just so lumped together. It's really hard to make that up. And, there's no way to say for sure whether he had a fast car. His car would have been 100% whether he still would have been able to pass him or not. It's just a whole different game changer when you get back in traffic. And Elliott did a really good job of controlling the race when he was in front, working through lap traffic. There was a sequence there at the end where Denny it looked like gaining on him a little bit. And then they come up on 2 Chevys, the Zillage car of the 88 and then the 41 of Cole Custer. And Elliott just kind of caught him the right way. They gave him a break. He was able to get by them pretty quick. And Denny was able to get by him fairly quickly as well. But it just, Chase was in that point just in cruise control, and the race was his at that point.
Well, I mean, this was a big moment, right? Because most of this race, I mean, even at that point when I think Elliott made the pit stop, or at the beginning of that pit stop cycle, it was the top 6 was all JGR and Penske. Penske showed back up after obviously an off week, like for guys like Joey Logano last week, although his teammates were good. But we were just debating last week. Oh, I don't know, maybe Penske's not part of the big 3 anymore. You said 2311's ahead of them. Then they show up here. They had all 4 of their cars running really well. If you include Josh Berry as well, he finished top 10 today. And so you had, 3 Gibbs cars, 3 Penske cars, and then the Hendrick cars were 7, 8, 9. Now remember, Hendrick had, dominated this race last fall. William Byron led, I think, over 300 laps. They finished 3 out of the top 5, and they've struggled to get the balance with this new car. And it's like, I don't know, this is a big test, and they were not there today. So this is not going to be like, wow, everything's fixed now. But it's a huge relief for Hendrick to be like, okay, we got this one done. We won the race. I don't know that they can go back and feel like, well, we're where we want to be exactly speed wise, but this was big going into an off week to get this.
I mean, it gets the monkey off the back. I mean, at least it ends the question of when are you going to win a race? What's wrong? I mean, again, as bad as they're running, it's still not horrible. They're just not running to their standards. But it was interesting because it was you could tell they were hearing the noise a little bit. I mean, Rick Hendrick was making calls. He called Alan Gustafson, just to give him a kind of a pep talk, like it's going to be okay. Everything, don't worry about it. It's part of the process. Gordon talked about that after the race of, hey, this is part of the process, but we know where things are at. We want to be better. So you could hear they knew that this was what was happening, that this was going on a little bit. And they see Toyota, they see 2311, they see Joe Gibbs Racing winning these races and what that means early in the season and what it can do for your season in terms of setting you up. And it hasn't been. And Kyle Larson hasn't won a race in almost a year now. Chase Elliott, won 2 races last year, but as we said, the Kansas win was circumstantial. And, William Byron has been good at times. Even today, he was like fifth, he ranked 5th today, and he's been good this year, but not great. And then, obviously the 48's got sorted problems right now. Obviously, one of them is Alex Bowman's not in the car. So it's just, this is an organization just working through it a little bit.
Yeah. And look, I mean, especially for Elliott to win, as you alluded to earlier, you thought this point system could benefit him, but, winning races is not something, he's said, look, I don't want to just be known for being consistent. I want to get up there and win. Right. And so now this is the earliest in the season he's ever won, which he seemed to think that was pretty cool. And, it is race 7 of the season. They're going into an off week. He's going to be able to enjoy it. He's going to be in a good place. And, we'll see. Let's see. They won 2 races last year, 1 race the year before, none the year before that. And then he had the 5-win season. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? It's been slim pickings, as Chase Elliott fans know.
I mean, look at the laps led, too. I mean, it's just since 2020, they haven't led over 1,000 laps. It's 952. It's 8 something. It's 195 in his injury and suspension year. 431 in 2024. Under 500 last year. That's not laps led is indicative of speed and performance, and they haven't been that bellwether of a team. They're consistent. They get stage points, but they're not a Kyle Larson. They're not a Denny Hamlin type team that's going to go out and dominate. That's what's been missing from their arsenal. But I will tell you, you don't need that in this system, though. You just need to be good to great every week and just run up front and get stage points. Like, wins are great, and obviously with the additional points and everything, but they keep doing this. They run 9th place. Like I said, they're going to be in the championship discussion.
Yeah, well, now he moves up to 4th in points. So it's Reddick, Blaney, Hamlin, Elliott, Byron. Ty Gibbs is moved up to 6th in points. I also think it's big for, a nice dose of confidence for Alan Gustafson. They obviously they hear it, guys. They hear they know.
Well, Alan doesn't. Alan,
he knows it's there, though. He knows it's there. And Jeff Gordon, you asked Jeff Gordon about that. Let's hear what Jeff Gordon had to say about the criticism that Alan Gustafson receives from the fans.
You talked about days like this, and Alan is sometimes, by Chase's fans, is not the most popular guy sometimes. Fair or not.
Well, he's my favorite.
and so, do you hear, when you hear noise like that, you just ignore it? Because Chase obviously defends him adamantly, and this is his guy. And so, do you just ignore that stuff?
I hope so, because I mean, and I get to say this because Alan was my crew chief, and I love this guy. I love the work and the effort he puts in, how smart he is, the team he builds. But nobody's a tougher critic than he is of the team and their performance. So luckily, I don't even think you're not even on social media, right? So, but you've always seen this, right? It's whether it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Chase Elliott, whoever is the popular driver in the series. There's a lot of critics that want to sit on the sidelines and evaluate it, and you cannot let that tear you apart. You got to keep strong in the inside and know and believe in yourself and believe in your team and all the things you're doing, and that's what Alan and Chase that's what they fall back on.
Yeah, well, the funny thing, Jordan, there is they're saying they're hoping not paying attention to it, but still, I asked people. I'm just messing with people, right? Like, I'm sure you guys are all happy now with Alan Gustafson, right? No,
they're not.
Still not. You looked at some tweets, didn't you?
I looked through the replies a little bit. I flagged a few of my favorites.
Okay.
Not praising him. He's cost us countless wins. Lucky call.
Oh, okay. A
blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, but yes, that was a great call. It makes up for the many races he's lost with bad strategy. Sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while, however that goes.
Oh, so he doesn't even know if that's the correct saying, or however that goes. Sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Is that an actual saying? I'm not familiar with that saying.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean there was just a few of these. There were so many of these, and that was basically the gist of it. Was lucky call. Great, he got this one right. Why don't they do this all the time? But that's what it is. And Jeff said this, but being the crew chief for the most popular driver, Earnhardt, 20-year junior back in the day, or whoever was Junior's crew chief, you're public enemy number one. Like, they want your driver to win every race, and if you don't, it ain't the driver's fault; it's the crew chief's fault.
Yeah. Well, anyway, from all that standpoint, that's an important thing. Although we're going to look back and say, oh, they won the short track race. Let's just remind ourselves when we get there this fall, when this race comes around, right? And people are going to be like, oh, who won here in the spring again? What happened? Remember, Hendrick was not they were the third best team today overall. I mean, there was a big three, but they were the third best team.
Sounds like you're reading social media.
What's that?
One good lucky call doesn't erase the fact that the 9 car was mediocre for 80% of this race.
Well, that's true.
No adjustments worked. I congratulate Alan for a call, but still not happy with the lack of speed this team is showing off the truck.
Well, the whole team, though. I mean,
so you're basically criticizing them now too.
Well, I'm just saying, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves that they were the ones that dominated this race. And, this was going to be a Denny Hamlin day. This was going to be win number 62 for Denny Hamlin. It was going to be like, he's up to third in the points now, but this was going to be big, right? Like this is one of the most dominant days of his career. Really. It was a thorough butt whooping, and it made the race very boring for a while.
Oh, it was bad.
It was just like, man, nobody's even challenging him. I mean, I tweeted this, but at one point before the green flag pit stop cycle, there was only 2 lead changes, that quick exchange with Byron early in the race.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just like, you can't be too excited if you're like, well, everything's solved. But again, a win's a win. But look, I think you got to look at Toyota. If you're going into this off week, if you're Denny, you're pretty bummed that you lost this win. You let another one slip away. Add it to his list of however many he was talking about that he could have won, another 15 or whatever it was. So this one certainly gets added there, right? If it's especially the loose wheel part of it. If Ty Gibbs, another top 5. He has 5 top 10s in a row now, and 4 of those are top 5s.
Mm-hmm.
Looking really impressive.
6th in points.
I mean, week after week, and he didn't even have a good start to the season.
No.
I mean, he have a bad Daytona.
He had a bad Daytona and bad Atlanta.
Yeah, and so he's come all the way back. Obviously, in spite of the Gabehard stuff that's going on. Yeah, where was he?
He was 23rd at Daytona, 37th at Atlanta, and he was 33rd in points.
33rd in points, and now he's 6th in points after the real racing season started. So, yeah, I mean, that's really big for him. Bell was at least in the game. I mean, he probably had a top 5 car all day, really.
Yeah.
And then, look, Blaney. Let's talk about Blaney for a minute, because Denny admitted he fenced Blaney. Blaney was not happy about that after the race, but he was like, it's not like he just squeezed me in the fence. So he wasn't thrilled with that.
Denny owned up to it and admitted,
yeah,
like he did screwed up. He just got loose off the corner and pushed him in the wall. It wasn't like he did it intentionally.
But where did Blaney finish? He ended up finishing 6th. He probably was going to finish third. So Logano finished 3rd. That's big for Logano after last week, after going through the stages of grief in the Darlington race, where he was just 3 laps down just based on performance. And then Cindric quietly gets another good run. Back-to-back top 10s for him, right?
Yeah,
Cindric.
8th. Yep.
Let's see, where is he in points now? He's in back. He's still buried, but up to 18th. He gained 3 spots today. So it's pretty good for him. And then we mentioned also that Barry got a top 10.
So really all 4 Penske cars, top 10.
Barry moved up 7 spots in points today. That's a big leap.
Yeah, they've had a rough go of it. And they were buried in points at one point. He's starting to turn things around a little bit. Good time of the year for them. This is important for Josh Berry, because the way last year finished wasn't the best. This year was off to a rough start. Turn that ship around a little bit and get it pointing in the right direction. This is the runs he needs on a style of track at Martinsville he should run well at.
Yeah, I mean, look, you pointed out to Blaney, I think yesterday, that despite how good he's been here in the fall race, it hasn't been the same for the spring race. I think you had said that he hadn't led a lap in the last 3 spring races here. So once again, long run Blaney, this race is 100 laps shorter, as Brad Kozlowski noted yesterday, and that affects the stage lengths, right? And that affects even the long run at the end, where, although this was weird though, like there wasn't as much tire fall off. The tires were wearing, but
there's no fall off though.
It was like a second?
Yeah, it wasn't much. It wasn't disparity. We didn't have we heard all about the comers and goers. We didn't really have any comers and goers today.
Not really. I mean, the 750 package was supposed. We all thought, oh, it's gonna change the.
I'd say like everybody. This is why all the talk and conjecture going into a race weekend. Oh, this with the rules and this. It's like show me, don't tell me. because it's
I guess. But what else are you going to talk about then? It's like it's something new. Oh, what's going to happen this weekend? You want to hear the drivers' opinions, but yeah, it was sort of just a normal.
Yeah.
I mean,
but there wasn't the comers and goers. You didn't have anybody come really from the back. It was kind of where you restarted. You were kind of in that area where you were going to be. It wasn't that, and it wasn't like a tire management race kind of thing, which is I think what we want to see. But I don't know. All you can do is ask Goodyear to keep working on it. But it's not about wear; it is about the fall off.
Well, I mean, we saw rubber on the track.
Yeah, you look at the cars. You see the cars.
Yeah.
Like, all of them had rubber everywhere.
Yeah,
there's chunks of rubber everywhere.
I mean, crew chiefs were talking about, the tires are wearing. It's not down to the cords, but they're worn. So I don't really. I'm not sure what to make of that, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty much who you would expect to be good for the most part, except also, by the way, SVG, man. Now he ends up not getting the top 10 that he probably deserved. He finished 11th, but he was top 10 in 2 stages. He finished 5th in, he qualified 5th. He finished 6th in stage 1. I think he was like 8th in stage 2. And he was up there all day. I think he kind of was on the similar strategy that Elliott tried, not exactly the same lap, but he came in at a little bit of an outlier. So it didn't quite work for him, I don't believe. But I mean, he was pretty much the best of the non-big 3 cars throughout the day. For the most part, he was better than the 2311 cars, better than the Spire cars, right? I mean, he was really. I mean, man, that guy is super impressive. I know people keep thinking I'm glazing.
No, like 14th in points. I mean, these are the days he needs. It's just top 15s, top 20s on ovals. Just be good enough. Get a few stage points if you can every once in a while. And then when you go to the road courses, you go all out and you max it. And that's how you get in the playoffs. And like I said, 14th in points right now. This is what you need to do. And if you keep doing this, he's going to get better. The experience is going to get better. We talked so much last week about Trackhouse, right? And how they're struggling organizationally. They don't have leadership. Ross Chastain talked about it this weekend. They don't have speed in their race cars right now. There's a lot of frustration in that camp. And yet here's SVG. Despite all of this other stuff, he's still figuring out how to get an 11th place finish at Martinsville. That's really, really impressive when you take everything into consideration.
Yeah, Chastain ends up coming back to finish 16th today, but he was pretty much off.
And a lot of that was a gamble call too. Like he stayed out there at the end,
right?
And so that wasn't like they were that great today.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, he ends up. I mean, I guess he never pitted again after that, right? So
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think he pitted again.
Yeah.
But he moved up a spot in the standings, 19th. I mean, it's just that organization just does not have great cars right now.
Well, one team that we were curious about what would happen with them was 2311, because Tyler Reddick said the world would end if he won this week. And he was right, because he finished 15th. And he even said on the radio afterwards, like I heard him say, like, I'm more confused than even before we came here on how to tackle this place. But Bubba Wallace, his teammate, was going to have at least a serviceable day, and then just made one of the more puzzling decisions we've seen all year, really, because he was having a great points season. He was 3rd in points entering today. That move he just sort of bulldozes Hocevar and stays on him, wrecks himself, takes himself out of the race, ends up dropping 8 spots in the points, all the way down to 11th. Where did he end up finishing?
36th.
36.
Back-to-back 30-place finishes. 34th at Darlington, 36th at Martinsville, and just that's a lot of points on the table.
So where was he? He was probably right around top 15 when he was top 15 when that wreck happened.
10th or so, somewhere in there. He had a 10th place car, so there was some frustration on the radio before that too. Bubba has ran really well here in the past, both in Cup and in Truck Series, and they were having a day. They weren't figuring it out. He was venting on the radio a little bit about the car and where he wanted it and what it was and wasn't doing. And this is me just kind of projecting a little bit. I think that probably contributed to the decision there to bulldoze Carson Hocevar, or that you're frustrated because Hocevar took advantage of you in a restart that you didn't feel good about, and then you drive into him in the corner and just take him out, and that's not good. And he doesn't have a top 5 finish on the year, and it's just how quickly this all changes. A few weeks ago, he's sitting second in points. You're like, man, he's running well every week. They just haven't been able to kind of just break through yet, but they're right there. And then, boom, 34, 36, and now he's 11th in the points and no top fives. And you look at this a different way, and it's like, oh, okay. And this is a team that probably could use the off week right now just to kind of reset. The good news for them is they have some good tracks for them coming up and kind of get healthy. But it's been a tough 2 weeks for them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We just heard from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Last night after the O'Reilly race because Raja Caruth and Jesse Love had an incident. And Dale Jr. was talking about how he went over to Raja after the race and was explaining, and he sort of gave his whole mindset, right? He said at the start of this year, I told our guys, our team, like we're going to race differently. Like we're racing for points. Like you have to be conscious of what's going on. And he was talking about how Raja's move at the end of the O'Reilly race, like to him, you're not going to care about that corner in what happened in turn 3 and 4 or whatever in a few weeks from now, but you are going to care about the points. And so he's like, I don't care what happened or who was right or who was wrong, but you can't give up points like that. No. And so when I saw this incident with Bubba today, I just thought of the same thing. Like you can't give up. Those points are so valuable. And, in this system, I mean, that's really, he was having such a solid start. And even if it wasn't going to be the great day today, you've just got to figure out how to deal with taking a 10th place finish, taking a 15th place finish, whatever it is, because he cost himself at least 20 points, at least, right? You said he finished 30 something?
Yeah, 36.
So, I mean, man, that is
conservatively, he would cost himself 21 points.
Yeah, I mean, that's
that
could have been even more.
Absolutely. So, and this is, you can't do it like that. You just have to look at the big picture. And we've heard a lot of drivers talk about this a little bit, and it is a change in mindset. And there's people that say like, not everybody quite is there yet, or they quite realize the significance of this because nobody's raced in a system like this before. And now they're just kind of figuring it out. And it's going to be one of those things later this year where people are like, oh, okay. And Chase Elliott,
I mean, there's no reason to be saying that later in the year. Everybody's been saying it.
I get it, but I don't disagree with you. But until you're in it, you have to think of how the mindset was under the old system. It was all out, go for it. We need to win, and we need to do whatever we can to get a win because we get a win, we're locked in the playoffs. Or it was just we didn't care because we got a win, we can do whatever. And so it was just this mindset of just always attack. It's really hard to break that. And sometimes when you're having a frustrating day, your car isn't doing what you want it to, you feel like you should be better than you are, and you feel like on a restart, somebody was way too aggressive. I can see why there's a disconnect and you just snap, your wires get crossed and you go crazy, and it happens, but it's going to take a little bit. I mean, remember Chase Elliott was giving an analogy about the stage points and everything with Martin Truex. Chase Elliott in his post-race press conference talked about 2017 when they introduced stage racing, and Martin Truex Jr. and his team just capitalized. They went for every stage win possible and all of the bonus points, and no one really thought about that at the time. And then later in the year, everybody looked around and went, what the heck? He's got all these points. Where did this come from? It does take a little bit of time. Yes, we can sit here and say this is what you need to do, but you almost need somebody on your radio telling you constantly points, or like a little sign on your dashboard.
I don't think you do. I think it's
apparently you do because
well, that's I think that's a huge mistake if you're not thinking about. I mean, as soon as this point system came into play in January, immediately, again, everybody's been talking about, hey, you got to at least get a top 6 seed, or you're not going to have any chance to win the championship. And a top 3 seed is going to be, all likelihood it's going to come from a top 3 seed. So what was it? 69% of the scenarios they ran, it was the top 3 seed. So if you're not thinking points all the time, every lap, you can't give away them anything at all. This is why people are going for stage wins or stage points. They're racing so hard. Oh my gosh, 7th or 8th in a stage. They're thinking that's going to add up to a point. So if you're just going in there and not thinking about how many points you can give up, why would you need a reminder on your dash? I mean, this is like,
because it's hard. To me, it's almost like in football. You have a coach who's like, we got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. But they come out and they throw the ball like they can't help themselves. They want to attack downfield. They want big plays. And it's like, no, sometimes you just need little short gains, keep the ball. It is such a fundamental shift in how this sport has been raced for the last 10 years. It does take a little bit. We're only race 7 into this. And I will say this is also the first true short track we've had in this new era. And so you're coming to Martinsville where you're getting beat up and bumped around all day. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the difference between, I
don't disagree. I mean, yes, it sounds so simple in theory, but I just don't think it is.
I don't know. I mean, he's a veteran driver at this point, Bubba Wallace. I mean, it's not like he's a rookie that needs this. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a sort of a cop out to be like, you're not thinking about it. You have to think about it, bottom line. But I did think RFK racing was going to be a little bit better today as well. Ryan Preece, the paperclip Punisher. He was all gung-ho about it, and he just, I think he had about a 10th place car.
Did you come up with that thing then?
No, he showed up on the Gluck cast. He changed his name on the Zoom or the StreamYard thing. He showed up and his name said Ryan the Paperclip Punisher Priest. So he was all about it. Keselowski kind of picked his way through up to 13th. And then Buescher had terrible luck. Did you see that?
Yeah.
A piece from the O'Reilly race that was still on the track somehow cut a tire, and then he was laps down and
still came back to finish 19th though.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh wow, considering everything that happened to them
19th.
today.
Yeah, that's salvaging. We talk about points and everything. That's salvaging a day right there.
Yeah, no kidding. I thought they were way worse than that.
And he dropped 4 spots, or only dropped 1 spot in the standings. He's now 10th.
Oh,
so
that's pretty good. Yeah. I was curious to see what was going to happen with them. I thought they would be more competitive, though. I mean, I
thought so too.
I was sure that Preece was going to get at least a top 10. I mean, he finished 6th and 7th in this race last year, right?
Yep.
So I thought they're better.
Stupid
no,
thing.
I'm not going to do it.
Thank God.
I think even like my daughter is done with that. Nobody does it anymore.
Okay.
Like now, if you do that, the 6-7 thing, like you're super lame. Like the kids
so
are
you should do it then.
over it. Well, it would be fitting for me, wouldn't it? Anyway, I don't know. Is there anybody else specifically, drivers, or do you want to talk about the racing itself? Because I'm ready to vote on the poll.
Let's vote on the poll, and we can circle back if there's anything else. Kyle Busch had a miserable day again.
Oh my gosh!
It's not good. No top. I looked at the numbers. This is the longest Kyle Busch has gone into a season without a top 10 finish in his career.
I'm not surprised.
No,
it's terrible.
It's just not good. Even when the year in 2015, when he missed a bunch of races, he came back and with like the first 3 races had a top 10 finish. It's not good.
No.
And it just doesn't seem like it's going to get better.
So do you already have your guess in mind? Because Chase Briscoe already submitted his guess.
I kind of do.
I have not looked this week.
Trust me. I know you do. You shouldn't.
Anyway, I was supposed to recap the who got it right and who got it wrong last week, and so that you got it, but I was supposed to say, it was this percentage, because I never say that, and this is how often we're off, and then I forgot to write it down again before. So
could you please kind of have
I know
a little show prep, please take this seriously.
I'm sorry.
You get your own show, and this is what happens
next week.
Slacker.
Or
you've given up on the show. It's all the Gluckcast now. It's all you care about.
Sure.
It's all you care. You get your own little spin-off, and now that's all your focus and attention is on that. I get it. That's cool. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting over here trying to carry the load. That's fine.
Hey, I'm not the one doing Dirty Mo Overdrive videos every day.
Hey, I'm living in a courtroom, man.
Yeah. Anyway, well, what's your guess? Because I already have mine in mind. I'm not going to change it. I did not look at the past Martinsville race.
I am really conflicted.
Okay.
Like, is there a Chase? Can we just talk about this? Like, work this through a little bit here?
Yeah.
Is there a Chase Elliott bump?
Yes. Some of the stats guys have looked it up. I think it's about somewhere between 7 to 10%, seemingly.
Okay. Okay.
It's not a huge
I mean, that's 7 to 10 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
a pretty
what it is.
that's a pretty
Well,
good number.
I think the real one was if he wins late, which he did today.
Okay.
Like the Kansas
And he
thing.
beat Denny.
Yep.
Because I mean, Denny.
People are gonna like that.
They like that, yeah.
So they'll be, it'll go up. I'm factoring in 10%, a 10% bump for Chase, based on what I was going to.
I think you and I are gonna be really close. That's why I'm a little.
Well, I've already picked mine. I'm not changing.
No, that's fine. 75.
Oh no, we're not close at all.
No. Oh dang it! I could have gone lower than I wanted to go low 70s. Shoot.
You went 75.
I went so I wanted to go like 72, 73.
Whoa.
Because I was gonna bump. Oh, nuts.
I mean, I'm going 55%. So I may be really off here. I don't think it was a good race at all.
I don't think it was either. I don't think it was. Well, I have mixed thoughts on this. We can go ahead.
Anyway, Chase Briscoe picked 60.1%.
I really hope Chase wins. Like I feel like we should give him a sympathy point at this point.
Yeah. So you have 70. What did you say? 75, 55, and 60.1.
But I will say, like, if it's in the low 70s, I win. So
yeah, it could come down to you and Chase. But I don't. Why are people saying that was a good race? I mean, I get the end because Chase Elliott won at the end. I mean, Denny. Look, credit to Denny. He kicked everybody's butt today, but it was a total stomping. I mean, we were up in the press box. I mean, I was looking at Chris Knight, sitting next to Chris Knight, going, "Oh, this is not a very good race, is it?" I mean, it was just, ugh.
It's not. But our colleague Nate Ryan was here this weekend. I was talking to Nate, like, This is how this is what Martinsville is.
You say that every single Martinsville
podcast. But it's true. Nate is right.
This is how Martinsville is. You say that.
What do you think Martinsville is? Like, it's either you get a complete circus and guys losing their minds in the last 50 laps, and that's one caution after another, and somebody moving out of the way. But you go back, and I don't care if I sound like a broken record. You go back and look at the history of this place. There is typically one driver or two guys who dominate on a day. It's hard to pass. That's how this is. I'm not saying this was a great race. It was not. It was not that entertaining or captivating, but it really didn't look all that different from a lot of other Martinsvilles. The only thing that didn't happen was we didn't have the complete circus at the end that we typically see, because had that happened, had you got a bunch of cautions and somebody rooted somebody out of the way for the win, that's all we'd be talking about. And it'd be like, oh man, short track racing. But that didn't happen today.
Yeah. Somebody asked how many hot dogs we had. I was so disturbed that Jordan was enjoying the hot dogs so much.
They're fantastic.
That's so.
They're great. I had 5, by the way.
In the media center too. They're not. Look, I can understand some of you until you bite into them, you don't see the redness, the pink nuclear. I mean, it looks. What's the movie Alien where the thing comes out of their stomach like the?
Are that species or alien?
One of those. Anyway, that's what I think should happen with these hot dogs, because they're not from this world, and I really don't understand why people are so dedicated to eating them.
Look at that chili though.
Show the viewers. No, not the chili part. Show the viewers
the pink.
Look how the dogs here are just sitting there. That doesn't even do it justice. I mean, they're like bright red. They weren't. If you go buy them from the stand, they wrap them and you got the slaw, and you don't really look at it, right? You see it. Here in the media center, it was like the make your own thing.
Yeah, make your own.
And they were just all sitting in a vat of like red juice. Like, and Jordan's like, "Ooh, these are so delicious. You don't want some of these?"
I'm a man of the people.
And then you're like, "Oh yeah, I drink 5 Red Bulls a day." And he had like all these gummy nerds clusters all over his station. So he's like pounding gummy nerds clusters.
I was not pounding gummy. There's for the people in the media center, because and I like to be nice. Yes, I drink a lot of Red Bull and energy drinks, and the hot dogs are good.
I was just like, dude, are you like trying to get me a new podcast co-host here? Like,
you would be thankful.
No, I would be terrible. Who would I argue with?
I don't know.
Everybody else would be like, you know what, Jeff? Another great point. Wow.
How
do you make so many great points?
The hot dogs are great. You have to start making good points. The hot dogs are good. Like they're solid. It's a great dog for a bit of ballpark.
Okay. Well,
you used to eat them. Why did you stop eating them?
You know what? If I was a driver, I would kick you out of my press conference. Like, Max Verstappen.
Uh,
What did you think of that, by the way? Did you see? I don't know if you guys saw this, that Max Verstappen kicked a reporter out of the press conference for asking a person. Well, not even a press conference. It was a media session that they were having at the Red Bull Hospitality. And Max last year, I talked about this on the Gluckcast, but I'd love to get your
so
thoughts.
Soft.
Yeah, I mean, it was a question last year. He lost. He was down in the championship by 100 points. He comes all the way back. He loses by 2 points. But there was a moment last year where he ran into George Russell on purpose, and he got penalized, so he lost 9 points. And so the reporter was like, hey, you just lost the championship by 2 points. Like, do you wish that you had those 9 points back? Like, you wish you would handle that incident differently?
Legit question. Question.
Pretty like, you lost your mind and you cost yourself, right? Like, do you wish, and he didn't like that question. This was in December. So fast forward now to late March, this reporter comes to the Japan race. He's from one of the most respected outlets, The Guardian. And he's not like just some clickbait guy. And he just shows up, and Max sees the guy and he's like, get out. He won't do the press conference until he gets out. So, but I mean, Max in general seems totally over.
He's a baby. Like he's being a complete baby. He's say what you will about the Formula One rules and the cars and everything, fine. But he's incessantly complaining about that. He's pouting and saying, I'm going to take my ball and go home. If they don't, the rules aren't fun. I'm not having fun. I want to get out of here. And then he's kicking people out of his press conferences. God forbid they ask a legit tough question. Not even a tough question. They ask a legit question, relevant, and he didn't like it. And he's going to throw him out. Like, stop. Like, be a professional. Handle your business. Stop pouting. If you don't like the rules, fine. But don't take it on other people who are legitimately trying to do their job and hold you accountable.
Yeah, but now he's saying he might quit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stop being a baby. Like,
so do you think he's going to quit? He said he's not having fun. He doesn't need to race.
He doesn't need to race, but that's fine. I mean, he would be the first Formula One driver. Alain Prost sat out a year. Alonso's done it. I mean, other guys have done it. But Schumacher retired, came back. Like, sure, but are you going to find your smile? Is this what this is? Like Shawn Michaels back in the day, and he's upset and he can go home and take a year off and come back and be happy. Like, what is going to change in a year? Like, they're not going to change the Formula One rules. Like, it's like, what is going to happen? So I said this to you jokingly, and I'm not kidding. Like, if I'm IndyCar or even NASCAR, I'm like, oh, Max is out there. He's unhappy. Like, what do we got to do? Like, to get him? Like, we just write him a blank check?
How much do you think it would take to get Max Verstappen to come run IndyCar?
100 million.
100 million?
I think he said he never wants to run the Indy 500, doesn't want to do ovals, right? So you're going to have to make him a Godfather offer that he cannot say no to. And I think it has to be $100 million.
So Roger Penske gets in touch with Max Verstappen. He's like, hey, I heard you're not happy.
Yep.
We have some great fun over here in IndyCar. Mm-hmm. We'll give you a blank check to You think he can go for that?
Why not? I mean, I don't know if he would or not, but at least make him say no. At least give him an offer that he has to think about, $100 million.
Would you like to deal with Max here in NASCAR?
It would certainly heighten.
That would certainly do a lot of attention for NASCAR.
I mean, if you're NASCAR,
if NASCAR lost $50 million on the Chicago Street race.
Hey, listen, if we learned anything throughout NASCAR, we learned that NASCAR, Jim France has got some money. We know that what they're putting in their vault. We know exactly what they're putting away. Like, the coffers at NASCAR are full. Like, tap into that, man. Bring Max over here. Formula One champion running, it'd be awesome.
If he's pissed finishing 8th in F1, how's he going to feel when SVG's kicking his foot on ovals? I mean, and we'll be like, wait a minute. Max can't even, SVG doesn't have experience either, and SVG's doing well on ovals.
Imagine Max coming to Martinsville.
Oh.
And, hey, Max, first question. Hey, Max, you tried the Martinsville hot dog? What did you think?
Dude, I mean, it would. You talk about attendance and all that stuff would go up crazy, and
Coda would be a scene. His first road course race. I mean, it would be huge. I mean, I will say it's not unprecedented from a driver from Formula One to leave and come over here. It has happened.
Pablo?
Yeah. And at the time, remember, we were all like, whoa,
he would love to use the bumpers, for sure.
Max, Max, we know Max likes just don't ask him about George Russell, but his mentality would fit in over here really, really well.
I think it'd be fun, but I don't know how.
And we could finally settle. Like
Kyle Larson versus Verstappen.
Yes, it would be great. That'd be fantastic.
Larson would destroy him. That wouldn't.
I mean,
be...
if you want, and the thing is, is like there wouldn't be any pressure really because he's like it's a completely new discipline. You're running ovals and all this stuff. It would loosen. If you want to get find your smile again, like Shawn Michaels, come over here, run NASCAR for a year, and just reassess.
And some other news that dropped, Jordan, right at the start of the race was the NASCAR Hall of Fame nominations list was out, and they wanted to do that where they had Mike Helton surprised Kevin Harvick. I think it was a surprise.
Yes,
he was faking or something.
It was a surprise.
That look, it wasn't a surprise that he's going to be.
No,
he was eligible this year.
Everybody knew Harvick was going to be on there. Like
right.
It was just a matter of when they were going to announce it.
This was his year of eligibility, and so obviously he's. I mean, not to spoil anything, but I mean, he's almost certainly
first ballot
going to be going in first ballot. I can't imagine a scenario where he wouldn't go in first ballot. So
I think he had a really underrated career. Like, and I say it because, the RCR years were up and down. Like he'd have one great year and then up, but then you think about when he joined Stewart-Haas and they were really at their apex, like it was just multiple wins every year in the championship hunt. If he could have been with a team like that of his caliber for the duration, how many more wins would he have had? You know what I mean? And how many more titles would he have? And this is still a driver, by the way, that won every NASCAR major. He won the Southern 500, won the Brickyard 400, won the Daytona 500, won the Coke 600. Like he had this great career, and it still wasn't, I don't think, as great as it was. And even his Stewart-Haas years, even towards the end there, like there wasn't a great organization, man. That place was a mess.
Yeah, he definitely made every team better.
100%.
Way better. Like
100%.
And you didn't realize it at the time in the moment, right? Like you're like, I don't know, what do they really have? Then he leaves, or you're like, oh, he was really propping them up.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was laughing because I thought about this Chase Briscoe story that he had told on my 12 questions this year about the light bulb being out.
Such a good one.
Go back to Chase Briscoe 12 questions if you haven't.
No, tell them real quick. Just tell them.
Well,
it's such a good story. It's such a good story.
Things weren't going well, if I'm recalling this correctly, and this light had been out in the men's bathroom in the engineering area where they did their debriefs for like, what did he say, months?
Yeah, for a while, for a long time. Then the pothole.
Yeah, there was a pothole out front and at SHR that had never been filled, and
it tells you a lot about SHR, by the way.
So Harvick had basically tied this in. He went on this rant about how they weren't doing things right. And he's like, we can't even change a light bulb in the bathroom and fill in a pothole. And like the next day, these things were taken care of finally after like months of not being addressed. But like it showed you kind of what like the leadership that he had.
Yeah, that doesn't mess around. Like this is how we're going to do it. There's a certain way you have to act a certain way. You have to carry yourself a certain way. There's accountability, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
You talk to drivers that have been his teammate over the years, like they held him, like he was holding people accountable, crew chiefs. He carried himself a certain way. That matters. And like you said, he made every organization significantly better. So Jeff, I ask you, you're a Hall of Fame voter. 3, you get to vote for 2 on the modern era, 1 on the pioneer, and then a landmark. Who's on your ballot?
Well, first of all, the way that the room goes often kind of dictates how, because you listen to the discussion in the room, and if the room is going a different way than your preconceived notion coming in, you realize that you could be wasting your vote. And so, because a lot of times the conversation ends up focusing on a debate between 2 guys. And so you can either decide, it's like a presidential election, right? You can either be like, all right, well, clearly people are voting for one of these 2 people. And so like, I can either weigh in on that and try to, balance that of which one I think is the best, or I can sort of throw my vote away to the third party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and there's people sorry, go ahead.
Well, so you have to be somewhat open-minded in the room, or else you're like each year I've gone in thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for these people. And then it kind of changes. But I'm thinking that it would probably be Harvick and Burton. Burton was going to be, he was the next closest guy on the modern era last year. But I think, there's going to be a big push for Greg Biffle. And so, does the horrible tragedy that happened make people want to go, well, I think we need to put Biffle in now. I don't really know how that would go. I haven't really, this is only my 3rd year that's going to be on it. So I don't really know how that kind of an incident would change people's perspective. If there's going to be like a big groundswell of like, no, like we've got to put him in, like this is the right time to do it, or because Burton's been waiting, and Burton is, talk about the impact somebody has on the sport. I thought that the Money Lap podcast with Parker Kligerman and Landon Castle this week, Landon had a really good way of putting it, like about this whole Hall of Fame debate that Travis Rockhold started, obviously. But it was like, you're looking at these people on the ballot, these people get nominated, who had the biggest impact on the sport? Like, you can take stats, you can take popularity, whatever, but like, what of these people that are available, who is the most impactful? And I think Jeff Burton, with what he's done after his career, bridging with the Drivers Council, working towards safety. He had, I think, a Hall of Fame career on the track as well. And so I think now it's to me, it's his time. But I also think that the Biffle thing is going to get a lot of support, where there wasn't too much Biffle talk in the room last year. I thought maybe a couple people mentioned him or something, but and then for the Pioneer one, I honestly, this is really weird. So Bob Welburn, I've talked about this before, but he was a 3-time convertible series champion. And the point has been made that the convertible series was equal to the Cup series back then when they were running it. So there's like, he needs to be viewed as a 3-time Cup series champion. He finished second among the Pioneer ballot people last year. He's off the ballot.
Mm-hmm. So
the nominating committee, I'm not part of, that's a smaller group. The people that did the Pioneer ballot this year, they took him off because Harry Hyde got moved from.
Please vote for Harry Hyde. Please vote for Harry.
He got moved from Modern Era to Pioneer, so there had to be room, I guess. But anyway,
please vote for Harry Hyde.
Well, I for Pioneer, I will listen to the people in the room who have been around a lot longer and watched all those people, and then I will probably hear of the 2 people that are being talked about the most, and then I'll decide based on that. Because like, I'm always like, well, Larry Phillips, I mean, look at what he does. And then you're like, well, I don't know, the debate seems to be going here. So if I'd rather try to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I just crew chiefs to me are woefully underrepresented in the Hall of Fame. And you look at Harry Hyde, who is one of the greatest crew chiefs in this sport. He's won championships, won every major thing, and was a fundamental, foundational piece of building Hendrick Motorsports into the juggernaut it is today. And oh, by the way, it was also inspiration for the movie that helped put NASCAR on the map as well. He checks every box and then some, and that he's not already in, no offense, this is not a shot at you, that he's not already in is an indictment of the process. And it's embarrassing that a guy like this, and I will say this about a bunch of other guys, there are so many of these guys, a lot of them are crew chiefs and engineers and that kind of thing, like Gary Nelson, for example. How are these guys not in already? It's ridiculous. And you want to tell the story of the sport, they're as much a part of this sport as anybody. And I feel like I just want a year where it's like, we're just going to open the door, and these guys who are past due, a lot of the legends, we're going to let them in. Like, we're going to let 10 of these guys in. It's just like Larry Phillips is another one. And it's so tough. And it's just going to keep backing up. And you talk about people falling off the ballot. He shouldn't fall off the ballot. You could make a case he should already be in. And this is just going to continue to happen. And it's a frustrating process.
Well, I mean, part of that too, like, Harry Hyde up until now, he's on the ballot with the Kurt Busches of the world and all these drivers that are going in. And when you can only vote for 2 of those people a year, and you have star Cup Series champion drivers, people aren't going to vote for.
I know. So I get it.
But that might help him moving to the Pioneer one now.
I hope so. And don't even get me started about Smokey Yunick. Like, that is.
Well, he's not even.
It's an abomination that he's not even up for a vote. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So Jordan, you'll be at Rockingham. We won't have a teardown next week after Rockingham, because the Cup Series has taken one of their 2 off weeks this year. Obviously, we only had 1 last year, but the Easter holiday will be off. Trucks and O'Reilly will be racing there, and obviously, one of the big stories is going to be Cletus. Now, I'm going to talk about this more on the Gluckcast on Thursday. But what's I'd like to hear your personal expectation for what Cletus needs to do to have a respectable Rockingham race?
First and foremost, stay out of trouble. Just clean race. Just clean race. I don't care about where you finish. I don't care about, run as many laps as possible. Don't cause an incident. Don't be in an incident. Just have a clean, uneventful race where it's like you almost forget he's even in the race. That is it. That is the goal. I'm not expecting anything else. Just go there. Don't cause any problems for anyone else. Stay out of the way. Just log laps, get experience.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Honestly, it's the same expectations I have for just about anybody else who'd be making their first start in this situation. Just don't do anything where you're like, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Would Max Verstappen have to go run the ARCA race at the Rock before he's able to?
Juan Pablo Montoya ran an ARCA race, if I'm not mistaken, at Iowa Speedway. That was his first stock car foray. So
they had Elliott run the ARCA race at Daytona.
They did.
So
they did. So I mean, I just very rare cases am I gonna be okay with guys jumping into out of nowhere. Alan Jr. did it in the '93 Daytona 500, and he crashed twice, and it just you need laps.
Yeah, I mean Lee Pulliam did a great job. Obviously, he's had tons and tons of experience in stock cars in general, including at Martinsville.
That's the big thing. Like he's ran so many laps here. Like I'm okay with that. Like that was traditionally how guys would make their debuts in the National Series, and that's fine. But doing it at Daytona in the Truck Series, that's hard to do. And I don't know, the Rock scene, there seems maybe a better place to do it, but we'll see. Hopefully it works out for him.
All right. Well, Jordan will keep working hard. He never takes a vacation. I'm going to not be probably even look at my phone, hopefully. So I don't know. I hope everybody gets a little bit of a break here to get through the summer. The next off week is last week of July.
Yeah,
last week of July.
Yeah, last week of July, beginning of August.
Yep. All right. Anything else that we?
No, we covered it all.
Okay. All right. Everybody, thanks for listening. I'll be live on the Gluckcast with you on Thursday.
Your priority.
And my priority. And we'll talk to you after Bristol on the teardown. See you, everybody.